Hello, Tungsten Miner here. Last time I left off, I was starting to work on the main entrance hall to this big building. Well, here's what I came up with. So this whole thing is made pretty much entirely out of microblocks, as you can see. Nary a full meter wide block in this whole thing. So let me walk through how this is all put together. To start with, I've got all of the stairs made out of hickory wood pillars. And I decided I wanted this platform to be 2 meters wide. So I picked a height that's just above the level of the door, and so I could walk underneath it. And then just started the stairs down from there. In order to get some of these bottom ones in, I actually had to break these blocks and kind of go down into the basement area to get them placed in the right positions. And then I knew that I wanted a 2 meter wide walkway up here. So I figured out where this would have to start in order to begin at the 2 meter walkway and go down, and then just figured out, okay, here's where they intersect, and filled out the rest of the platform to meet with the staircase coming down, and did the same thing on the other side. With my 2 meter wide walkway here, I just extended it straight back to the wall, and I knew being up high that I'd want a railing. So I made the railing out of the same hickory wood, except cut down to strips on both the railing part and the post part. These are inside the meter of the walkway, so that they wind up meeting up nicely with these posts over here. And they're actually in the meter above. They're not in the bottom meter, they're in the second meter, so that with my boots that have high step on them, I don't accidentally walk over the railing. And the posts are just 2 meters apart. The glass panel here, I wanted to have something in place because this trick for making railings doesn't work when you're going downstairs. I've tried a couple of different things. I haven't ever found anything that really works nicely. But on the other hand, I didn't want to just hide the nice staircase. So using the same glass that I've been using for all the windows, I decided to make kind of a glass wall. But it looks a little funny just floating by itself, so I added these hickory wood posts, which are the thicker versions, halfway between the pillars I'm using for the stairs and the strips I'm using for the handrails, to make boundaries wherever the glass is. And if you look at the meter bounds, they're in their own meter. So I've got a full meter of glass and then the post, which cuts into the walkway just a little bit, but it's no big deal getting around them. Same thing for this little frame here. Same thing for this little frame here. Oh, sounds like I should go to sleep. I've got some zombies crawling around somewhere. Okay, so in addition to the main hallway here, I've been working on this tower over here. So I've got my andesite filled in. I've got the pillars kind of working their way up. These, of course, are diorite to fit in with this part of the building. Andesite over there to fit in with that part of the building, and then the join. And like the other staircases, I wanted to use the same general pattern of using just pillars as the corners with glass in between, obviously not there yet, and having just the pillars be in the parts that are freestanding. Just making sure I'm not going to get attacked here. But I was thinking, I've got so many different levels that I need this to stop at. You know, I've got the basement down there, this one up here, and I want to go over there too. I want to get up there. That I'm not convinced that a staircase is actually going to work, because the stairs may not be able to get around to the right levels fast enough in order to make it possible to like actually get off on that side. You know, at the altitude that takes you from that bottom floor up to here, I probably won't be able to go both that way and that way. The staircase will just be in the way. So I think what I'm going to do is use Pneumaticraft elevators. These things are amazing. They literally work exactly like real-life elevators. You just stand on them, it pushes you up, it brings you back down again. You can have call buttons and everything. So I'm going to build this with that in mind and not actually fill in a staircase. One problem, of course, is that I did make this go all the way down to bedrock, and the elevator's not going to be able to go anywhere near that far. They just don't work that way. So I'll probably wind up filling in most of what's down there. I did make the stairwell over there go down to bedrock as well. So I still need to build out a big chunk of the stairwell, but the hole at least goes down that far. Oh, look, I've got friends. Yeah, so this is the design I intend to use for the rest of that staircase over there. Pillar on the outside, covers for glass. Of course, I'll use the different colors that belong in that part of the building over there. But that's how that's going to go. Up here, I've made just a little bit of a step using pillars and notches so that I can get in and out. I'll have a door here eventually. That way, yeah, I don't take up too much of this space because I wanted to save this space for doing more agricultural sorts of things. Another interesting thing is you saw that zombie was coming out through the stairwell there, and he was already on fire, even though theoretically he's not in the sun. Well, microblocks don't count as an opaque block. They don't stop sunlight coming down through, which means, of course, that this entire roof being made only of microblocks, well, at least the roof on that part of the building being made only of microblocks, allows them to burn. The roof on this part of the building is actually just full blocks of cobblestone, so it protects them from the sun. But as soon as they walk into the staircase here, that top part is only rhyolite cobblestone slabs, and therefore allows the sunlight to go through. Kind of a neat trick, actually, if you want to allow sunlight in your house and not have to have lots of artificial light in your house. Of course, that doesn't keep the monsters from spawning at night, but there you go. The next thing I wanted to talk about was this doorway. You can see here this doorway is not on a full meter boundary. I didn't want it flat up against the wall because I think that looks kind of weird, but I didn't want it to start on this block and be 2 meters wide here because that would push that staircase over even further, and I didn't really want that either. So I decided to make this split. So it is in fact 2 meters wide. It's just 1 meter in the middle and then half a meter and half a meter on either side. I haven't quite decided how to finish off this doorway. I might just leave it as it is, or I might put some green schist up there. I can't, unfortunately, make an archway with the architecture blocks mod because architecture blocks have to be put on meter boundaries, and they won't work well with this half a meter difference here. So I'll have to think of something there. And then, yeah, this will be where the elevator comes out, possibly at the top floor, although I do want to have an ability to get up here because this tower, I think, is going to have an extra room that's on the very topmost level here. So either I'll make this staircase go up another level, or I'll make the elevator go up another level over here, or maybe I'll think of something else, have a ladder inside the tower, who knows. Anyway, I'm going to carry on finishing up this tower and start working on that tower over there. So I've got this tower done here, and yeah, all glass all the way down. And the other thing I've been working on is this guy here. So this is an Immersive Engineering windmill. It's actually an advanced windmill. As you can see, it's cruising right along because I am standing right now at elevation 122, which is pretty darn high, and that box is probably above 125, which, if I remember correctly, is the maximum altitude that these things can really work at. The other thing you'll notice is I've added torches all over. These, of course, are going to go away once I get powered lantern and whatever else set up. But for the time being, I've gone through all the rooms, upstairs, downstairs, and in the basement, and put down enough torches to get rid of all the mobs from spawning in the house. So I don't have to worry too much about the dark anymore. Anyway, so what's going on here is this is, let me bring up one of these guys, one of these improved windmills, which needs a block of steel and these improved windmill blades, 8 of them. Each of those is a bit of tough fabric, which you get from industrial hemp, which is one of the plants that it adds, just wrapped around a stick, and a regular windmill blade, which you need to make the less advanced version of the windmill. But I generally skip right past that because it's easy enough to grow some hemp and get yourself the new and improved version, which makes like twice as much power. Yeah, so treated wood is just wood soaked in creosote. Let's see. Oh, the recipe's not showing up. Well, whatever. Yeah, you take regular oak planks, make them in a loop around a bucket of creosote in the center, and you get these treated wood planks. Um, Both Railcraft and Immersive Engineering have coke ovens that allow you to produce the creosote. And then you can make the planks into sticks in the usual way to get treated sticks from treated planks. That gets you your windmill blades. And then the other thing you need is a kinetic dynamo, which is some copper wire, just copper around a stick. You get 4 of them. You make some more of those. You wrap those around a chunk of iron, yeah, and that gets you this copper coil, and then you craft those together with some iron and redstone and get yourself kinetic dynamo. Once you've got that, well, it's a little too dark to see, hang on. Okay, once you've got that, you need to get it up high off the ground. So in my case, I've taken 2 blocks of andesite, one of these Immersive Engineering wooden posts, mostly just because it looks cool. Yeah, here we go, wooden post. Just some regular stone bricks, treated wood fence, which is the regular recipe using treated wood instead of regular sticks. And that gets you a post. I will talk about these more later, but they're really, really flexible. There's a ton of different things you can do of adding different arms and carrying wires, and yeah, they're well worth learning how to make. So I plopped my dynamo up there, and you can kind of see the dynamo has a plain metal face on one side, a coil-looking thing on the other side, and then a circular face on the opposite side. So your windmill blades are going to go on the plain metal face, and power is going to be generated on the back. These guys are low voltage wire connectors. There's a bunch of different grades because Immersive Engineering, a lot like Industrial Craft actually, has different voltages. Now, unlike Industrial Craft, different machines have all the same requirements, and really it's just moving RF power around. So different voltage levels really just allow you to move power. The low voltage ones are just hardened clay and some copper, and you get a bunch of them all at once. The medium voltage ones need iron, and the high voltage ones need aluminum. And that's the only difference really, and a little bit more hardened clay as you go up the different level. So the way Immersive Engineering works is you then make these wires. Let's see, the low voltage wire is just copper. It's the same recipe we use to make the dynamo. And you right click it on one connector, and then you right click it on the opposite connector, and it will form a wire. So let me take this one apart so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So I've got my low voltage wire connector. I'm going to right click it on there, and then I take the coil and right click one connector, and it says it's linking from wherever that began, and I click on the other one, right click, and it connects it up. And now power is flowing through this wire. One thing to note about Immersive Engineering wiring is that you do lose power the longer the wire goes. So low voltage wires can go a certain distance, higher voltage wires can go a longer distance. The higher the voltage wire, the less the loss in the line, but the more voltage you have to put through it in order for the loss not to be too bad. This guy here is a high voltage capacitor. Let's see, medium, high voltage, there we go. Which is treated wood, redstone, lead, aluminum, and steel. There are medium and low voltage capacitors as well, which just have basically the same recipes but need lesser material. So a bit of redstone dust instead of a full block of redstone, a lead ingot instead of a full block of lead, and so on. And this just stores power, very much like any other power cell from any other mod. These connectors will connect to machines from pretty much any mod, so they work just like any other sort of pipe, except, of course, you don't have a solid block, right? I can walk through this wire, so it's actually really nice for a congested area, because you can imagine I might have a whole host of machines all around here, each one with a connector on it, and then all I have to do to get them connected is just click wires back and forth between them. So you can fit a lot of wiring in a very small space. The other thing that these are great for is long distances. Now, yes, you do lose some power, but if you're generating enough power, then they're really, really, really cheap, right? 4 pieces of copper and a stick gets you 16 meters worth of cable. Even Buildcraft pipes require 16 pieces of redstone dust to go 16 meters. So these things are crazy cheap for moving power over long distances. You just have to deal with the fact that you're going to lose some of the power. The reason I went and bothered about all this at this stage, because of course I'm not even done with the construction of the house yet, is that I keep going back and forth to my other house using my RF Tools teleporter. And when I come back again, I've got a matter receiver that's not powered. Now, I do have some stuff back at my main base to send a little bit of extra power here so that I don't get quite so crushed, actually killed, as I would do if this were completely unpowered. But I do get hurt a bit, and it does make you nauseous for a little bit. And unless I'm keeping my food meter completely full, the little hits here and there actually get my health down enough where having tons of mobs running around in the house, I've come actually really darn close to getting murdered in the middle of my construction site. So I wanted to avoid that problem, hence the torches and providing enough power to this guy so that its power meter stays full. So for example, I'm going to teleport back home, and here I am back in my house, and now I'm going to teleport back. Of course, I've already got my dialing device set up, but I can grab this guy and see, oh yeah, it's already connected to my other house. I had hit this dial button previously so that it stays dialed in. And now I just walk into the beam, and it's going to send me back again. The kinetic dynamo unloads itself when your chunks aren't loaded, so it will take a little bit to wake up again. There it goes. Right, and so that used up a bit of power. I just barely caught the tail end of looking at it recharging. So it doesn't use a lot of power, doesn't require a lot of power to keep everything charged up. So for my very simple power needs in the interim, this should be just fine. The other nice thing I can do is keep this cell powered up. I just unplug it from here and plug it into the cell and keep the cell charged up. In fact, I think I'm going to do that right now, because this guy has a small internal reserve of power, which is enough for a teleport or two. So I'm going to take this guy, plug him into the top, transfer power from there to there, and then change his configuration to accept power from the top. So now, well, actually, he was already full. But if he weren't full, he'd now be getting charged up from my impromptu windmill. These things don't generate a ton of power. It's something like 25 or so RF per tick. Actually, I've got a little thing that I can show how much... No, I don't. Actually, never mind. There is a device which allows you to read how much power is moving, but you need a depleted cell in order to see the power transfer. So next time that happens, I'll go find it. Progress on the house in the past couple of minutes here. I've now got this tower room pretty well filled in on the bottom floor. All the way up to the ceiling. Nice windows all the way around. Pretty good view here. One of the reasons I love alternate terrain generation is that you get these really spectacular vistas. And when you combine that with a good biomes mod like Biomes of Plenty, you can get some really interesting trees and other terrain. This is a kind of low swampy area, and hence all the tall trees. Whereas where I am now is a shrubland biome, so lots of just small shrubs and not much going on. That line of trees over there are actually all pecan trees that I planted myself so that I could harvest the hickory wood for all the stuff inside here. So I've also got the upstairs bit of this tower pretty much in progress. And the way that this tower gets its round shape, of course, is by putting things in the right sequence. So really I've got a 1 meter square here, and then 2, and then 3, and then 2 again, 1 again, change 90 degrees, 2, 3, 2, 1, change 90 degrees, 2, 3, 2, 1 again. And that makes the circle pattern. There's a lot of different ways to figure these things out and get the right program. I use a program called Pixin. Let me make a new document here. All right, so this gets me a little document. Bring in my tools here, and I just grab a circle tool, draw from one corner to the other corner, and now this shows me the layout of the blocks in order to get an 11 by 11 circle. And I can make the tool, the size of the document however big or small I want in order to be able to lay out the patterns. And I'll often pull up this program and just grab like a pencil tool and say, okay, I want a certain shape, and let's see how that works out, and can do some planning of how things are going to lay out even more easily than I can in the game. And especially having some kind of circle tool allows me to get these shapes without doing a lot of computation myself. And I don't want to save the document. Okay, so back in Minecraft land. To further make this look a bit more round, I've gone ahead and added microblocks to fill in these corners. So you can see here's the 1, 2, 3 of the basic pattern, and there's the 1, 2 of the next bit of the pattern, and in between I've put a pillar to make a continuation of the pattern and to round it a little bit more. And that way, I take advantage of as much roundedness as I can get. So I have to keep working on this, and I'll put in the windows, and I'll put in the top layer of green brick, and then I need to think about what I want to do with this top room up here, whether I'm just going to make it as it's planned or whether there's some other thing I want to do about it. Didn't really talk much about this tower. There's not a whole lot to say, I don't think, at this point. Because I want to do the elevator, what I wound up doing is just filling in the pit down to bedrock with all the extra red granite that I have lying around and red granite cobblestone. I only went 10 meters below because the elevator actually does have a bunch of hardware that you need to install underneath the bottommost surface of the elevator. So it's a big pneumatic piston that you need to put in down there. So I've got to leave myself a little room to put that in, which I'm going to do right here. And then when I get back to it, I'll have that all straightened out. I got some more soapstone, put in torches in all the rooms. So yeah, getting pretty close here to having a completed, or at least fully drawn out building. I think this is the last little bit that I need to do, is get this top part on. So I'll be back when this is done. Okay, I think I have got it done. The main shell of the house is complete. So we've got our blue wing and our green wing. Staircase going up all the way. A large storage room and crafting room above. Second staircase, the windmill. Third staircase, the blue wing staircase. Back rooms. And back around to the front entrance. As we come up to the front doors, missing the porch so far, but our main entranceway here, going up to both sides. Got our tower room here with its view. Take the staircase up to our second story tower room. Thinking I'll make this the bedroom. That brings us back out to the main entrance hall. Our big crafting floor. The eventual location of the elevator shaft. which will take us up to the roof if we need it to. Little doorway to come out to the blue wing roof. With our windmill powering our teleporter. Our pecan trees off in the distance there. Stairway coming back down. This will be the fuel production room, engine room, battery room, power storage room. Some more rooms, not quite sure what these will be. That brings us back to the elevator shaft to be filled in. And back around to the front foyer. So I'm going to stop this video here. Next time I will come back and talk about more decorations. Getting rid of these torches, putting in some powered lanterns, starting to put in some proper lighting all around, and maybe starting to work on the doorways and door frames, and maybe even getting around to working on the grounds of the outdoors here. So, if you liked the video, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to get more videos when they come out, and apart from that, I will talk to you later.